It should be action-inspiring conference. So, not just talking. We need to put a lot of things into action. Now, during this conference, you must be feeling, abhi to shuru hui hai, you'll be feeling that there are so many numbers and data which is presented in front of you, and you must be wondering, what will I do with all this? See, the whole point is that it all starts from you. You as a change maker. And if you don't realize your potential of being a change maker, the world won't change for you. Nobody is going to come with a magic wand and just Harry Potter world create kar diya. Nobody is going to do that for you. You have to become your own Harry Potter and create magic for the entire world. Now, how will you create that magic? Sometimes you feel that, why am I sitting here? Why am I listening to these things? Why am I being thrown so much data? And I'm not able to consume and absorb so much information. What should I do in my place? So maybe today, in the 10 minutes allotted to me, and I must complain to all the organizers, you always give me less time to speak. And I always end up rushing up with my thoughts and just presenting whatever concoction of thoughts I have in front of all of you. Anyways, let me do justice to the time allotted to me, and let me steal a couple of minutes from Pankaj sir's address. So I have the liberty there. I'll barge into that area. Okay? So I am so thankful he didn't turn up today. And I have a liberty of talking to you and listening to so many great ideas that are presented today. I am so thankful to our guest of honor for joining, kind of sharing so much thoughts and inspiring stories from his own career profile. So, to start with, okay, I was going through, so whenever the conference comes up, I feel that it's a great blessing for me to be in this profession, that I learn so much every day. So today morning has been very inspiring and learning for me, and I thought of pinning down certain things and sharing it with my students. So assuming that all of us are very simple, common people who can contribute towards this very large objective of sustainable development, creating resilient future. So I was digging into these words. What is sustainability? What does resilient future mean? Lot of these things, they kind of summed up a lot of things which I as an individual can do in my own capacity. Yes, we are not dealing in big numbers, but what we can do in small numbers. This is what I am going to talk about today. So I want you to introspect and think on certain things. How much do I need? Please define your need. Your need will define your consumption. Your consumption will define the production. And the production will eventually turn into some waste, which needs to be dealt in future. So it all originates from the one word, need. Are we still sticking to the ideology of jo prapt hai wo paryapt hai? No. We need more and more and more. Because we want to sell our old clothes to these big giant multinational companies, and we have forgotten the culture of giving back to society. Now we don't give to the underprivileged people. We prefer buying a pressure cooker from Big Bazaar or places like such, who are coming up with fancy schemes to lure you as a consumer. And you end up falling in their trap. So question your own value system. I'm talking a little different, non-technologically oriented kind of a discourse, but think on these lines कि कितना आपको चाहिए, आप कितना खरीद रहे हैं. हम यहाँ पे टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री के भी लोगों को देख रहे हैं. Are we in the trap of fast fashion? Are we producing so much that we can't even consume? So there are research papers, there are documentaries which give you these numbers that we already own so much to spend a lifetime. We don't need much. And if you just think back, I was thinking about it कि ऐसा क्या है कि जो worldly renounced लोग होते हैं, like साधु हो गए, या एक student को भी ले लो. When you are in the classroom, you are supposed to be mentally away from the outside world. You are supposed to be in the classroom. Today you are supposed to be in this conference, mentally and physically. So you are supposed to put on a certain attire, certain uniform. Why is it so? The moment you are bound by uniform or a simple dress code, don't have the urge of spending more. You don't have the urge of showing off to the world that you have money and you can buy 10 clothes no matter you need one. When you are put in a public transport system, you are not producing those greenhouse gases. And of course, I have a strict objection to this term greenhouse. All the people, big giants sitting in this industry, they must, rethink, and academicians also. ये greenhouse gases क्या होती हैं? CO2, methane, CFCs. The ones which are actually the biggest culprits. And the fact of matter is, these are in the fact of greenhouse gases. They are not green at all. They are killing the green. So why do we call them greenhouse gases? Can somebody question the terminology here? So, coming back to my point, how much are you consuming? How much internet you are consuming? We are in the internet age. Do you know how much energy is being wasted to maintain those giant servers which do not have a screen? You are scrolling the whole day, you are surfing data, you are downloading videos, you are, and of course we can't live without internet in today's life, but of course we can reduce the use of internet. So here comes our first calling. Can we resort to books to some extent and cut down on internet surfing? Yes, we can do that. Can we delete all the junk on our phone and laptop? Because that junk that you store needs a lot of energy to maintain, lot of electricity to hold those servers in place, and voluminous amount of air conditioning, which in turn is adding to the global warming problem. तो क्या है कि हम ये अपनी छोटी छोटी myopic vision और needs के चक्कर में we don't think about these larger surmounting issues. And no matter how many conferences we hold in place, if we do not bring about these small changes in our day-to-day routine, nothing is going to change. Today we are fortunate to have a government will. We are having institutions who are working in this direction. So why not as an individual you can contribute towards this greater change? Because eventually what you are doing today is going to affect 20 years down the line when your children will be in the environment that you have left for them. So do you want a safe environment or do you want a dirty environment for them, for you to decide? And tomorrow if you're being questioned what you did to make a change, probably you won't have an answer if you do not do it now. So I want all of you to go back and delete all those unnecessary apps from your phones. Use your phone instead of your laptop, because laptop again consumes a lot of energy. Shut down all the non-required appliances in your house. These are very, very small baby steps that we can take as an individual. And I don't know, maybe someday some genius would come up with something called domestic carbon credit system. I read about carbon credits to companies and industry, but I am yet to come across a system of domestic carbon credit. So as a citizen of India, if I am given this domestic carbon credit, maybe I'll have some relaxation in my taxes or, something. I was thinking on those lines, can we have that kind of a thing? You understood? We all are contributing towards carbon footprint, carbon emission in some way or the other. Now, how can we contribute towards reducing that? And how can we generate, जैसे आप shopping करते हैं तो आपके loyalty points होते हैं, फिर आपको उस पर कुछ फ्री मिल जाता है. कुछ उसी दिशा में अगर हम carbon footprint कम करते हैं तो हमको क्या मिलता है? So I want all the deans and directors from SRMU listening to me. Work on a system where we can convert carbon footprint reduction into some academic credit system in the university. Our students who are contributing towards this cause, we give them some academic credit. That is what they want. Give them what they want. Now, if you are sitting in some credit bracket of this thing, what I am trying to coin today, then probably you will be relaxed from taking one very, kind of a course in your semester. आपको thermodynamics नहीं पढ़ना है, मत पढ़िए. क्यों नहीं पढ़ना है? क्योंकि मेरे पास carbon credit which is converted to academic credit है. So as a student, you will have something in your pocket if you contribute towards this. And let me just share this thing with people from outside. SRMU has been very conscious in its approach and culture. You will never be welcomed with a bouquet here. There will always be a pot, or if you are a, if you've come from outside Lucknow, we give you a packet of seeds. We never have plastic folders on the table. We have jute folders. We never have one-time use plastic bottles for our guests. You might find it very fancy and interesting and very nutritious, but it's the most damaging thing that has happened to mankind, let me tell you. You will find glass bottles. So not that I'm saying this, I'm just bringing your attention towards the initiatives that we take and have been practicing these since a very, very long time. More than 10 years now, these practices are in place. We are trying to convert the entire system into paperless working. We don't want to generate paper, then discard paper, and then contribute towards deforestation, so to say. So I see a lot of potential where we as users can contribute towards bringing about this change. A lot of people have done that. I was going through one of the stories. All of us, I think, have guests from Mumbai here. You have heard about Dabbawalas. Have you heard about Dabbawalas? There is a very small initiative that they have done. Dabbawalas is a very big organization. Those who don't know about it, go back and read. You should know about them. It's the most efficient supply chain management system which is managed just by humans, and there is probably a very, very minuscule error percentage there. Maybe not even that. In delivering the lunch dabbas to people working in Mumbai in the offices. So this is Dabbawala's network in Mumbai. Now, they realize that we supply to so many lakhs of users all over Mumbai, but so many lakhs of kids don't eat and sleep. So what should we do about it? Now, they are conscious of the fact we are giving food to people, but still the kids are sleeping, hungry. So they introduce a very simple thing, red stickers. What they do, they provide these red stickers to the consumers, and they ask them to put the sticker if there is a leftover food. Not, of course, not, बस वैसे खाना मतलब झूठा खाना नहीं होना चाहिए. लेकिन if you have served it in your plate and eaten from that dabba, you can put that red sticker on the dabba, and they will give that food, collect all the red stickered dabbas, collect the food, and then they supply to slums of Mumbai. And that has brought about a very big change. So any change comes from a thought. Then there's another thing that I was reading, this company called Daily Dump. I think it's in Bangalore or Mumbai, I'm not sure. What they do, everyday waste that we create in our kitchens with peels and leftover vegetables, the composting that we do, it's not done in paper bags or in paper bins or plastics. This lady, I'm just forgetting her name, she introduced the concept of matka, terracotta. So you have to dump all the waste in these matkas, and because of the porosity of terracotta, the excess water during the composting process, it gets absorbed and the process is enhanced. So such a simple thought has promoted domestic composting. Then there's another company in Spain and Portugal, it's functioning now in Portugal also. Garment industry, I mean that would maybe interest you guys. What they do, they only make on order. So you go to them, they make an order, but along with your order, you have to give them one piece of your garment which you are not using. And then they recycle it. So they are working on the concept of reducing the consumption and providing you need-based. It started very small as a concept, but now it is taking very big dimension in Spain and Portugal. So likewise, there are hundreds and hundreds of ideas how we can cut down on such things. Another very interesting, just again thought-provoking, I think for you. So as kids, when we used to work with simple machinery in our household, हमारे घर में मिक्सी होती थी, refrigerator, TV. So I remember that VCR होता था उस जमाने में, तो हम लोग as kids we could manage to fix the machine on our own to some extent. I could do that to some extent, and that day probably my mother realized I should become an engineer. Okay, that little success. Now we used to get spare parts in those days. आज आप देखिए किसी भी चीज का स्पेयर पार्ट नहीं मिलता आपको. क्यों नहीं मिलता है? क्योंकि जो आपके लैपटॉप्स हैं, even your laptop batteries cannot be changed. So what simple thing what they have done, they have just fixed everything with glue. You can't open any machine. And when you can't open a machine, there is no need of a spare part. You need to discard that machine and get a new one. And they make you intentional contributor towards an e-waste in dumping ground. They make you waste. And I think you must have heard about all the Apple users here कि Apple में वो जो सीपोर्ट आ गया है, वो हर बार जितनी बार भी Apple का नया प्रोडक्ट आता है मार्केट में, I don't know what kind of research these guys are doing. Every year they come up with a new model. But do you actually look into it? कि do you need a new phone? Do you need a new model? You don't. You're just buying it because of peer pressure, or maybe you just have enough money to waste. With due respect to all the people who are Apple lovers, I don't change my phone for 6 years because I don't need. How do you define your need? So many countries, they rose in unison against this concept of having charger being bought separately from a phone. अब Apple का कोई भी product लीजिए, आपको charger अलग से खरीदना पड़ता है. And it only gets fixed in their store because they have made the product so simple that you can't figure out how to. मतलब पहले क्या होता था, कोई भी मशीन है 4 बटन दबाए चल जाती थी. वो 4 बटन ही नहीं है. They just have 1 button on off. They don't want you to apply your brain to it. They just want you to apply your money into it. And we are falling in that trap. So as a user, we can control that urge to buy unnecessary products. Okay. Have I finished my timeline? Okay. So I'll sum it up very quickly. We need to reduce our carbon footprint. We need to understand what our need is. We have to do these things because we cannot blame anybody for this kind of disaster that is happening in the global scenario till the time we contribute towards any change. So I'm asking you to be change makers first and then complain. So reduce your carbon footprint. Stick to indigenous products. Now you'll be surprised to know the carbon footprint that is calculated at the global level. कि इंडिया ने कितना कार्बन फुटप्रिंट दिया, यूएस ने कितना दिया. You'll be surprised to know US is the largest contributor of carbon footprint in the world. Okay, with internet today it is 4% carbon footprint. It will go on to 23% in 2030. It is moving so fast.